So this is the first time I'm talking to students of management. So I bring you a story from my field, architecture. And this is the real architecture, and all these people who say digital architecture are all fake. They come behind. We really create the infrastructure too, okay? So I tried to put my spiel in management language. That's more for me to learn what it is and how is this whole practice. So I'll try a few slides. I'll try to dissect the practice of Biome Environmental Solution as a business case study. If you all would be interested, it will be great to interact with you later. We look at how we identified a systemic problem, water scarcity and resource, especially building resource mobilization, and turn the solution into a market position, a scalable one, because that's how we could, in past 30 years, make about 1,000 buildings. And in Bangalore, that set a movement, and there are about 100,000 structures built with earth, doing rainwater harvesting, and we have this, Biome has this whole thing of a million wells in Bangalore and different ideas, but everything to do with sustainability. So it's been building with what ecology in mind, water, soil, climate and people. We design homes, schools, housing, etc., etc. But they are not just a product, they are an ecological asset. So while I have to also read my notes, Biome does not measure its success through some square footage or aesthetic style, but by integrating resource cycle. So here we dig, we take out the earth, make bricks out of it, or we are collecting rainwater, use the water and grow rice. We grow rice on our terrace. So it's building a value generating node within a living economic and social loop. And so how does it do it? So a small firm, I started alone, but now it's about 30 people, not only survive, but become an innovator in otherwise a very traditional industry, which just works with, you make drawings, somebody comes, wants something, you make a drawing, you give it and you get it built, you interact with the contractor. But here we are talking about something more. By changing the fundamental position from designing a product to orchestrating a resilient human ecosystem. And that's what I call as the everything, everyone architecture. So the site will be the everything, the physical part of the site. So that site means a land. Okay. And everyone will be all the people who will be involved, the community, and also the masons, the well diggers, various people. And every project is a research. It doesn't, so we can't just do one research and say it's over and get a PhD. Every project is a research, every project is a learning, you are an eternal student. So what we need for this is creating for ourselves. We have to see sideways, we have to see what's happening around. We cannot just go to a site and say, okay, this is, like in Bangalore, it will be a 30 feet by 40, so it will be 30-40, and that's where, and then you work out your bylaws and do the design. But you have to see around what's happening, who's building, and then see what the kind of soil is and where does the water come from, etc. And then be extremely open. So it's not only a PhD scholar who will be teaching you, it will also be a well digger, it will be a mason, and sometimes there will be chemists. So they'll tell you what is the pH value and how do you have to treat your water to drink. And extremely important is how do we synthesize all the knowledge which comes, because all of the knowledge would come. And with this internet proliferation, with AI, with ChatGPT, and I love DeepSeek, all that, it just keeps giving you knowledge. And then how do I use that? And so you have to be extremely critical. Basically turn it into a form. So how do we go about it? Biome does, and I will just use a certain physical element in our designs. And this is Bangalore. it has wonderful soil. So what do we do with when we are doing any building? First, what do we do? You make foundation. But to make foundation, what do you do? Dig. So we have to dig. And that digging should not be just a waste. For biome, it becomes an ecological asset. What's an ecological asset here? You get a space and you get the soil. So 300 mm of soil has humus and you could use it for growing plants. Below that, it doesn't have much of biological activity. Can you make it into blocks? So that's the soil which we get in Bangalore. It's just beautiful. That's Bangalore. Bangalore is always better, but we can use soil from anywhere. We just have to work out a bit of science and how to mix various elements along so that they can become blocks, and they're done with simple hand press, very less embodied energy because it's just hand press. There's no fuel involved and it becomes a block and you make lots of homes. So like I said, about 100,000 in Bangalore. This was a technical stuff. This was something developed at Indian Institute of Science for an organization called ASTRA, Alternative Science and Technology for Rural Areas. So it was just thought that it will happen in rural areas, but Biome came along and made it happen in Bangalore and turned the technical into something as a design, as a possibility. And what does it do? Many homes are being dug, many parking lots are being done, and then the city gives you the material to build your walls, to build your roofs, floors, plasters, paints, etc. And the embodied energy, it lowers. A small basement in your home will give you enough blocks for 3 homes. So your home is part of the city. It's part of the larger schema of climate resilience. So let's look at basements. Usually boring spaces, dirty. Can they be interesting? So we've done some 4 or 5 basements which are lovely women. They want dancing studios because it's also much cooler. It will ambient, no, we say it like very hot. For Bangalore, about 30 is hot. And where the basement will be 22 degrees centigrade throughout the year, even when outside is 15 degree. And they're lovely, like this house, which has basement and it has a basement garden and it has a well. And that recharges the groundwater. So everything comes together and it gave us enough earth to not only build that house, also another school which was nearby. This was in an empty lot of land, so we had so much soil, so we kept making blocks and we took it to a school where we couldn't do a basement and we used it. So there's this collaboration, cooperation going on within, and they're just lovely spaces. I think it's nice to see some nice pictures, all those graphics. This is real stuff. So that's in a clubhouse. It's a badminton court, billiards, and it is also, I think they also have shooting gallery inside this. But with lights, you bring in skylights, you bring in garden within. It's nice with good air and doesn't require air conditioning at all. So basements are not technical leftovers. They are human spaces with social, climatic and ecological value. So I've come to a project which is very close here to Mumbai. Oh God. So this is in Palghar, about 100 kilometers away. It was, we started it in 2008. We interacted with them till 2021, 13 years of interaction. We really go long distance, okay, because you're creating a whole system, you're creating a human ecosystem. You have to make them understand about water, construction, wastewater, etc., etc. So this is about 80 acres of land where we studied the land first, and we did something called hydrogeological survey. Everybody knows how the water flows on top, but water flows underground, and nobody knows about it, and that has to be studied. And that was studied, and we made a large pond. And why this pond? There's a lot of water which comes down a hill, it's caught there, and that's how all the ponds were made, or tanks in Bangalore, which we lament and we cry about, but they were all harvesting. And this allows, because you have so much water, it percolates, and goes to a well, which is on this side, and that's what is used for drinking. Otherwise, in this plot of land, they didn't have water for 3 months when there were just 30 people, and we were expecting 3,000 plus people. So you have to think of water. We thought of water first, but then we dug the lake. And what did it give us? Enough soil to build the whole construction of about 3 lakh square feet. But it doesn't end at there. We humans, we are in fact fertilizer factories, but we don't like to call ourselves. We just make a mess around, and we mess our water most of the time. So can we treat the wastewater? We treated the wastewater at the site, interacting with scientists from IIT Bombay, Professor Shankar and his team. And here the wastewater gets treated with plants, so it's called soil biotechnology, and it's a permaculture of solution. It treats the wastewater, it gives fruits. You see papaya growing, and it has flowers, and then the resultant little product which comes out, it's a great manure for the soil. But then make the blocks, and then the building are like this earth itself from where they've sprung up, and it also looks like the clients, brown and orange. Yeah? But they're not traditional vernacular. That's what people would end up calling, and we architects at this stage, they don't like the word vernacular many times, but it uses the vernacular wisdom. It has large roofs, so it's not a square box, and so it covers up the wall. This is a photograph taken after 15 years, and there are no black streaks like you would find in Mumbai apartments, because this is a large hat and built with earth, surviving. But the best one was providing for bovine happiness. So you design not a cow shed. We design cow sheds also. We are working in different areas. We are not in the city driving an AI car, or we're not listening music. These people are listening to music. They are listening to Hare Krishna chant. So we have to design that. That's a detail, while making it very comfortable for a cow shed, which will go up, because the outside temperature will go up to 45 degrees. And in the whole of this, we have to accept Indianness, and that's the completedness. So it's for ISKCON. We designed in the master plan a space. We left it because it was a mango grove, and they added a small, simple Mathura here. And you have Govardhan, you have everything, a little water, but that is the foreground. And this is where the devotees come. They go through this whole system, but they are taken to also shown the Goshala, and then they are also shown the ways of building with earth and treating the wastewater. And that's how they make the map. Nice, simple. We architects would put the north up and very straight, hard edges. They make simple ones where we are all moving through a Vrindavan. And it also has become a place where students go, students of architecture and engineering, to learn about wastewater, construction, alternative energy, and they experience the Indianness, the complete Indianness. So for us, for Biome, projects are anti-fragile by design. They perform better in times of scarcity of water or energy. This is risk mitigation and long-term thinking. This comes through connecting engineering with sociology, material science, with finance, and continuously fostering these connections. It is a practice of conscious stakeholder management, considering the well-being of people and planet. Thank you.